Hello everyone, my name's Kirsten. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to me. I've been stuck in my bed for the past 10 days and the last couple of days I've been climbing the walls a bit. I'm still not fit enough to work, but I thought what I would do is come into my craft room and potter about a wee bit, having a drink of coffee, potter about a wee bit and try and catch up on a couple of projects that I've got to get done. And then I thought, well, I'll just bung you on because I've not been around and you might have wondered, has she stopped filming now? Well, the plan was not to stop filming, but the reality was having this horrible cold prevented that. Anyway, what I'm doing at the moment, because I've started doing this, is I'm doing for a Facebook group prompt, which is decorated page edge. So we're to decorate the edge of a page, and I've chosen this bit of music paper, which I've taken out of a book, but although I've kept it as one sheet, I've just put a bit of, and thankfully I had some washi tape down the centre just to reinforce that for when it gets put in the signature. I'm going to decorate this edge, and because it is quite thick paper, I purposely didn't pick something that was very fragile, but I still just folded over the edge just to reinforce it a wee bit, because if I'm going to decorate the edge of a page, sometimes it needs a wee bit more humph. And on this page I'm making a pocket, and then I've got to make a tag to put in it as well. I decided to bring my pocket in a bit just because this is going in a journal that the whole channel are kind of creating together, and everybody's going to have a page edge, and I thought if you've got the bulk of the edge page and then the bulk of a pocket, if I take some of that bulk further into the journal, it might just kind of stop the journal being an enormous gator mouth, which I don't see how it's not going to be. But anyway, we'll come to the edging later on. For now, I want to do this page, and the first thing I want to do is I want to lay some of this Tim Holtz tracing, what is it, tracing paper, well, call it tracing paper if you want, I suppose, whatever paper in there. I don't think I want the words so much this time. I really want that kind of bit of it, I think. You can see some of the music through it, so I want that bit there. So I hope you've all been keeping better than I've been keeping, and keeping yourself busy. I've been trying to keep up with everybody's YouTube on from my sick bed, but I keep on falling asleep, so I kind of start off watching one thing and end up waking up and it's something else. And I do wonder if the creative ideas will sunk through to my subconscious, and I'll start doing something and actually somebody will say, but so and so did that, and I won't even realise I've pinched it from so and so, which is really bad. Right, let's see, where are we going? So we want it there. But it's lovely to get back to journaling, or just playing in my craft room. I'm not even journaling, I'm just playing in my craft room. It's these things that actually can make a big difference to how we feel about life in general. Well, I'm saying that it makes a big difference to how I feel in life in general if I can get in and just kind of mess about in here for a wee bit. I just need the tiniest of bits taken off there. So where are we going? Let's just make sure we're not going to end up saying, oh, you've got it too small. Oh, we'll just do it would do this afterwards, only it's so thin and such a little bit, I'll never be able to tear it off afterwards because I won't be able to hold on to enough. That's it. And even doing that, it's not holding on. Right, okay. Okay. Let's just try that again. Yeah, not got the last wee bit. That's what happens. You find that the last wee bit, as soon as you aren't doing your full weight on the roller, and you've got little bits like that. Right, let's stick this down then. And this tissue paper is actually really cool and sticks really well just with Yoo-hoo, and I'm wondering, quite often I do it upside down. I might do it upside down. I'll lose some of the colour. It's just because it's quite shiny. I don't know why I've kind of done this shiny like this. But then I'm going to lose half of that. Yeah, I'm just going to put it down this side. So, let's just put this down. Part of me says, covering up all that book page. What was the point of putting that book page if you're going to cover it up? But there'll be another 3 sides of this book page that aren't covered up, so that's okay. There we go. And it still ended up being too long. And it's also ended up not being, oh, that's not going to come back up again. We'll just have to live with that. That's okay. I can live with that. I can live with that. Now, I'll trim that later. What I need to do is I need to decide, do I want to put anything else? Needs a wee bit more colour in that background, I think. Put that on there. Just needs something. A something. Right. Maybe just a sticker. Something like a, oh, bring this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm hoping this isn't going to turn out to a 6-hour video. If it does, then I will just, oh, actually I quite like that. That might be quite nice on it. It's a bit square. Oh, you see, I could put something like that. I'm planning on putting blue on the page edge, so something like that might be. It's a bit kind of holographic, that's the only thing. But that's quite, it kind of matches the flowers the other side, doesn't it? Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that. So this is, let's do some fussy. Oh, let's put the lid on that. So that took a wee while, but I've now cut it out, and I also have discovered it is actually a sticker, and now I can, as is the way now it comes to sticking it on the page, I can't get it to separate again. There we go. And we just want to put it there like that. Let's just trim off that edge now because it will have dried. do it from the other side and then I'll see. I wonder if I could tear it. Shall I risk it? Shall I risk it if I hold it down really and tear it from this side? Maybe I will be able to tear it. Oh, that's done. Excellent, because I'd much rather have a tear. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this, the flap of this envelope up. Use a bit of glitter glue for that. Always glue the flat bit of the pocket, not the page, and then you'll get it. You glue the right length. I would have to remind myself of that every time, and there's still times when I don't do it. There we go. Put the top back on, Kirsten. Put the top back on, Kirsten. There we go. Right, so now what I'm going to do on this flap is I'm going to use a bit of this faux rice paper that I made using glue and the inside of a napkin, and but I'm going to print on it before I put it on there. And I'm going to use this stamp here, which is one of 3 stamps from Stamperia Clocks and Borders. And I think I'm going to put several different colours on it. And I'm just going to be quite random with this. And as you could see when I showed you this is the first time I've actually used this stamp. I usually at least print them out straight away, but this came at a time when I was tidying up things, and so it never got played with when it arrived. So this is my first play with this. We'll see what it looks like. I might stamp it out separately first, and then I've done those ones, this one, and then come back in and that one in there, and then put a bit of teal zeal down here and up here. Right, so, or shall we just go for it? Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. I don't have a stamp block big enough, so I'll need to have a think about that long term, but for now, let's just do it this way. I could have got my stamping platform out, but what a faff for one stamp. Okay, that's not printed very well on there, and I think that's maybe because I needed some more ink. Oh, actually, see, parts of it are printed all right. Let's show. No, it's the yellow that's not really showing. So let's change the yellow to peanut brittle. You can even see that more on the stamp now. I'm just gonna. I know I've already done this, and I know I'm running the risk of well, I've actually no way I'm going to get it back on exactly where it was before, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to print it on the other way up, and that's fine. And if I don't like it, oh well, I can actually, regardless, I could go and get another bit, couldn't I? I just like this bit because it had the crinkly edges to it. Let's just see how that goes. I could try and match it up, couldn't I? Because I can kind of see through this. There you go, see, I can match it up. Roughly matched up, that's okay. And actually, because of the texture on this rice paper, faux rice paper, this might be a much better way to print it on anyway. Let's have a look. Oh, yes, that's worked much better. Right, put it away, look at that. It does look, this is the smooth side and this is the wrinkly side, and it does seem to have printed, show up better on the smooth side, but I'm not as keen on the smooth, and I'm putting that on there for a bit of texture, so we're putting it wrinkly side up. So this is the smooth side, and we're going to glue. There we go. So how's that looking? Because it will actually be that way up in the book. I should have thought about that when I was putting the flowers and put the flowers in there, but that's okay. I think what I'm going to do now, because it'll just help my thinking, is do some inking, which I should have really done before I put the pocket on. Stuck the pocket down, but never mind. There we go. And I feel as if it wants a word, or a 2 words, or 3 words, which is strange because it's got music, so you'd think, well, it's already got words in it. Or maybe that's what I should do then. Hold on a second, because I trimmed off the top. I'm not greatly enamoured by any of those, really. I quite like the words altered and partly written, and I'm going to cut it out just because it's already cut out. It's quite small, which is why I was kind of not inclined, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a big border on top of it to make it stand out. There we go. Quite like that. Just ink that up. I'm tempted, but I'm not going to. There we go. I've just realised I'm probably doing all this out of camera range, sorry. There we go. Words altered and partly written. So I still feel that needs something else. Maybe I'll feel different once we've got a tag. But let's go to this edge page. Should we finish? No, let's go to the edge page. Right, my idea for this is right now what I'm going to do is use one of these tab punches, and I'm going to try and put that in the centre of that. Now I need to make sure what I should do actually, because it's more important probably, is make sure I put these all in a straight line. So let's start with that one. Let's just lightly, just so I know where so they end up in a straightish line. Right, so that's why it didn't matter I was doing the thing, because I was putting that there and just put that roughly in the centre. And the next one is there, roughly in the centre, roughly in the centre, roughly in the centre, roughly in the centre. It doesn't matter if it's not totally in the centre, it's just about getting them evenly spaced so that there's not too much strain anywhere up the page. So, having done that, my plan now is to take this ribbon. I'm going to start at the bottom and go up through that first hole. I want to leave a bit at the bottom, like up through the first hole, and then I want to get the ribbon, and I've picked out some beads and actually a couple of buttons as well, and put a bead through the ribbon. I'll put a bead in between that one, then we'll take the ribbon back through the next hole. And then you see there's a bit this side. So on this side, this time, oh yes, because this is the other thing. No, I think shall do a bead, I'll do another bead. I should maybe cut that so it's easier to put through. Bead, and then back through again, and on this side this time maybe I'll do one of these buttons. Editing Kirsten here, I've sped up this next bit because it did take quite a while as my brain kept on freezing and I found I just couldn't thread a bead on a bit of a ribbon. What I did here was I laced it up and down those holes I had made, putting in either a bead or a button or a wee bell every time I went through. When I got to the top of the page, as you can see now, I made a hole and put in an eyelet. I did have a bit of a trouble, it was playing up, but I put in an eyelet and then I came back down without adding any more buttons or beads or anything, but lacing over the edge of the page so that there's some ribbon over the edge of the page rather than it just being woven up and down the page. And when I get to the bottom, I'll be back with you. I wasn't thinking to do the hole at the other end, but maybe I need to do it all, or maybe I'll just sew it. Maybe I'll just sew it at this end. Right. So, right. Let's go through that. Back through the same hole. Go back through the same hole. You're not creating another weak point. And just catch this thread. And back through the same hole again. So those two are now kind of attached on there, Now what I'm going to do is just put that back through that, the other side of that, and back through that hole again, so it's at the back. Excellent. Have I got anything in blue? Nope. There's a wee treble clef bulb pin. Now it's going to need a jump ring as well, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Right. So I've just used the bulb pin to pin that, so you don't see that. There we go. So my energy levels were really flagging here, and I stopped talking, and it wasn't in camera shot, so I've just cut out that whole bit of the film. What I did was I got some threads and just wound them round as well, just to create a bit more interest on the page edge. Okay, so that's my page end finished with its dingly bells at the bottom. And the last thing I need to do is to make a tag for in here. Now, I've already picked out this card that came with something, and I just loved the sentiment on it here, and so the adventure begins. This is going to be a brand new journal for somebody, so it's part of the adventure, and we need to cover this back first. So I think what we'll do, I need to stop saying so, but the chances of me doing that are very slim. The first thing I'm going to do is cover the back with some coffee dyed paper, which I thought I had here and I can't see it, so I'm just going to get my coffee dyed paper. I've got a horrible feeling I might not have any lined at the moment. I need to do some more coffee dyeing. Now we're going to have graph paper because there isn't any lined at the moment, but that's okay. Which side, where am I going to use on this, because it is kind of slightly odd. I'm going to use this bit down in this corner here. Let's try and keep it square. There we go. Flip it over. Sorry, bashed you then. Just make sure it's nice and flat. And mucky scissors. Oh, I feel so disorganised at the moment, and it's mainly because I've been in bed for 10 days, and now my brain's starting to, I'm saying starting, it's a long way from kicking fully in gear. Now it's starting to kick back into gear again. I'm thinking of all the things that need done and haven't been done. This of course is where if I ironed it, it would lie down flatter, but hey ho. Right, okay, that's looking all right actually. There's just a bit there. There we go. Right, I think we are going to round the corners. I think we're going to do a big round. It's going to be a big tag, so let's have a big round. There we go. Right, now I know I like this, but it also needs, yeah, I thought it was one of those corners that was loose. Let's just sort that out before we go any further. I wish I knew what I'd done with my cloth, because now I really need my cloth. Can't see it at all. There must be some. Oh, did you hear the jingle jingle? There we go. Now I know I've picked this because I like what it says, but I still think we need to do something with here. This is very white for a start. It's also very shiny, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just getting my nail file and rubbing over the surface just to take the shine off and give it a key for whatever I do next, which I haven't yet decided, and I'm thinking as I do this that I'm going to cough. So I'll wipe with a damp cloth to get rid of the dust that's there. What am I going to do? I'm tempted to get some distress crayons out. Let's add some. This is Mermaid Lagoon. And this is Chipped Sapphire. And also let's put in some spiced marmalade. And another colour. I'm just trying to think what colour do I want to go as bright as picked raspberry. I don't think I do. I want something that's a bit of a zing. Actually, I might go for tea dye, because that'll give a nice pinky, and there's already a bit of kind of pinky brown in there. And then we can add some more stuff later on if I decide that isn't enough. So if you have distress crayons and don't know what to do with them, or if you've never used distress crayons and wondered what you did with them, this is the way I use them, almost solely. I put them down on a bit of paper and then smush things into them. So let's put a bit of tea dye down there, and a bit of marmalade, and a bit of blue, a bit of that blue, a bit of marmalade up there, a bit of tea dye in the centre there, a bit more blue. Got to be careful that you don't end up getting rid of a bit of a. That's looking all right. That's okay for what I'm looking for at the moment. So let's just get the heat tool. Paperclip, let's get my heat tool on and do some drying. Now you could say, well, you could do that with oxide sprays, if you could. The trouble with oxide sprays sometimes is they can be quite chalky, and it doesn't, this ends up a more kind of painterly effect. Oh, I've got some on the back. Never mind. Doesn't really matter for on the back as well. This has ended up really, come on. I wonder if that's because I didn't get rid of this stuff on the back first. Okay, we seem to have a problem here, and I think it's because I didn't smooth out the back as well. So the heat comes strunk, that whatever that is on the other side. I think because we've got a little bit of splashes on the back, what I'm going to try and do is just pick up some of these droplets. Right, and having done that, we're now kind of losing the detail a bit, so I'm going to get my embossing pen out and just right over that. I wish they did an embossing pen that was a bit finer than this one, but hopefully, in fact, it would depend probably on what I was going to use something, and now I'm thinking I'm going to actually use something else. Then I might use one of the Ranger embossing glazes, because then you'll still be able to see through to the original writing, and that might be an advantage. Well, let's go for Rusty Hinge. Is that Rusty Hinge? It is indeed Rusty Hinge. This is probably my favourite one, which is why it's on the top, and it was a case of let's go for a Rusty Hinge, no need to think about it. Now, of course, that was a bit silly, Kirsten, because I don't know whether that other bit was actually dry yet. It might not be. In fact, there's a bit there that most definitely wasn't. Let's just get a brush and see if I can brush that away. Let's put this back in the tub. I keep wondering about getting one of those trays, and then I think you've always got paper at hand, Kirsten, and if you went for one of those trays, you'd end up saying, where's my tray gone? Right, let's get the gun on it. And suddenly the magic happens. Can you see what I mean? Because it's a glaze, so it's transparent. You can actually see, even though it's the actual pen's too thick, you can actually still see the writing all right. Now, once that's settled down again, I need to decide whether I want to do the box or leave the box as it is, or I might do the box and pens. Now, having done that though, I now need to do something else, because although I've now calmed down or changed the background, I now need to put some kind of image or something on it. I feel like it needs something more on it. Actually, what I might do is I might do a cluster. Should we do a wee fabric cluster? I've got a load of fabric bits here. I keep them in this little box. Oh, see, that's quite... I forgot I still had a bit of this. I've got a whole roll of it actually, but I forgot I still had a bit in there. Oh, that make quite... Okay, let's stick this together. Sometimes it takes me longer to do the fabric, just a wee cluster, than it does a tag, a whole tag. I think there are those people, and I'm one of them, that really struggle just to put it down and leave it alone. My daughter calls me Bridget the Fidget. I'm sure I've said that before on here. She calls me Bridget the Fidget because I can't leave well alone. I always think, oh, it could be better if only. And that's what it's all about. It's about lack of self-confidence in our, and thinking it'd be better if only. I think I'm going to just put a little something in the centre there, because I can see all that glue saying, please use me, please use me. Should we do colour or should we do, oh actually I think what we'll do is we'll use one of these little kind of a brown thing, and we're just going to put that in there and use that bit of glue that's screaming please use me. There we go. And I think once we put that on there, that's definitely going to finish off that wee tag. But what I'll do before I do that is I'm just going to ink up the edges, because I'm not going to, I've decided I'm not going to do the line. Well, so I've got one more thing I need to do for this card, and that is put on a tag, and I'm just going to risk the old eyeball. And I'm just using the same ribbon as I used on the page edging. So let's just put this through. But even though the edge is somewhere else, it just ties the whole thing together. Let's put that through like that. And let's just cut off the ends. So let's put them together, and do that. There we go. And that was very brave of me, I actually threw those ends out. Okay, I tried to change the lighting to deal with the glare, but of course glare will be glare, and it's refusing to be dealt with. I can move it over a wee bit and it will stop glaring a wee bit. So anyway, let's put this tag in its pocket, and this page with a pocket and a tag is done, and with the page edging is done with its little treble clef. It's bells and all its ribbons woven in and out the edge of the page. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed. It's good to be back with you again, and I hope I'll see you soon on the next adventure with art and craft. Bye for now.